everybody that used an outboard to drive the catamaran around complained that the boat wouldn't turn for crap. And it's no wonder. There were these big skegs at the back of each pontoon. Apparently they were added when Iroquois made the Mark II and lengthened the boat without changing the position of the daggerboard slots. They extended the stern of the boat, basically making the daggerboards too far forward. So the boat would turn into the wind under sail, and you always had to fight that. So they put these skegs on to fix it, rather than move the position of the daggerboard slots, which would have been more expensive. So, since I'm not going to sail the boat anymore, I'm going to remove the skegs. And I thought I would just saw through them, and actually they're cast aluminum, so once they're sawed part way through, I can make a brittle fracture like this. And now I can proclaim my victory to all the world. I have been victorious over the skegs on the catamaran. And now hopefully my boat will turn like a normal boat. And now I can get back to fixing whatever it was I've done here. Rich spent a lot of time grinding off the little half-inch nub that was left where I sawed the skeg, so that we're down to just that flat plate that bolted them to the hull. It literally took several days for Rich to finally grind this stuff down and fix what I had messed up. This is how we work together, is I'll start something and really mess the boat up pretty badly, and then Rich will come and say, "What have you done, man?" And then he'll go about fixing whatever it was that I started. And that way Rich winds up doing most of the work on the boat.
Is that look half done?
It does. It looks like it's more than half.
Yeah, I have it done by tonight.
That's awesome. And so this is grinding the rest of the skeg. We have discovered that grinding paint goes pretty quick, and grinding fiberglass is a lot harder. And grinding aluminum is a whole lot harder than fiberglass. So eventually it's ground down to something fairly smooth that I can lay some fiberglass over the top of this. I've got all the bottom paint and the gel coat ground off down to bare glass in a big area around this, so that I can get a lot of tabbing area, a lot of square inches of fiberglass for the glue to hold, because I really don't want this fiberglass peeling off of here, and because this is a place that I'm imagining is more likely to leak than most. But once it's covered with fiberglass, it's not going to leak. I'm using fairing compound to make a more smooth transition from the top of the plate to the hull where the fiberglass is going to be. And that just makes it easier to lay the fiberglass because it doesn't like to go around a sharp edge. So a smooth and sort of tapered edge makes it a lot easier to get the glass to conform and get glued down here. So I roll a bunch of resin on, and that makes it sticky enough that the glass will stick pretty good. And I'm using chopped strand matte fiberglass, which is little individual fibers. It's not woven cloth, and the fibers are just stuck together with sort of a glue that the fiberglass resin dissolves. And once that's dissolved, then all these loose fibers can just move relative to each other and conform to even complex curves like this. With just a little bit of rolling over it with resin, I can get all the ripples and stuff out and get it to smooth out pretty well over this. And after a few layers of fiberglass, a quick sanding, and I roll on some gel coat. And because I have a catamaran, I get to do everything twice. There's the fairing compound, resin, the fiberglass cloth, well, chopped strand mat, and a bunch of layers before it's ready for gel coat. And I start with some narrow layers and gradually go to wider and wider pieces. And eventually some pieces the entire width of what's been ground back to bare glass. So there's a lot of square inches of glue there. And now I put gel coat on this, and that's it. That sound, that crackling sound, is the beginning of the rain, and I managed to finish this part of it just ahead of the rain.